open elective class of second semester. Today, we're going to discuss one of the important aspects of literature. Before I discuss the prescribed text for you, I'm here to discuss one of the important things. I really express my appreciation for all the students, those who have selected. Students, am I audible to you? Am I audible? Send in the message inbox, please. I'm extremely delighted to see lots of students, those who have selected English for the open elective. So there are few things which you need to keep it in your mind before you start up this course. You might be having lots of questions in your mind. Why one has to study literature? Why I have to study literature? What are the uses of literature? So to tell you one thing, literature is one of the aspects of life where it teaches us lots of things in life. Maybe lots of students from different streams of learning. Maybe many students are from commerce, many students are from science, political science, history, economics, all these things. But when you have selected English for your open elective, remember you're very lucky to study English literature, because most of the students, they don't opt. So since morning, many of our faculties are engaged in teaching the open elective classes or open elective subjects. So this might be the fourth class of the day. So today we are going to learn one of the plays written by Guru Charan Das, entitled Larin Sahib. So before I deeply discuss why we need to study that particular text, I am here to give you a few important things about literature. When we look into literature, literature is divided into many divisions, where we come across poems, we come across dramas, we come across plays, we come across short pieces of writing. Each and everything has its own meaning and it's very unique from each other. Many of us would like to read novels for pleasure, but how many of us read it for our own understanding? Each and every literary piece written has its own purpose to serve. The same way with all the differences, because when we look into different authors, there are many famous writers who have written lots of things, lots of things in literary world. There are many authors like William Shakespeare, William Wordsworth, Coleridge, John Keats, John Bunyan. When we take into Indian literature, we have R.K. Narayan, Raja Rao, Anantamurthy, Kamala Das, Kamala Markandaya, and so many writers. They have written or they have produced great pieces of literary work in English literature. And why we need to study? When we study English literature, we come to know what has happened what has happened during that particular period. Remember, every author has a purpose to serve. Every literary piece of work has something to do with the life. This particular play which we are going to study today, entitled Larin Sahib, it is written by Guru Charan Das. Let us, before I deeply go into the text, I would like to tell a few information about the author. He was born on October 3rd, 1943 in Farizabad. Farizabad is in Pakistan now, and graduated from Harvard University in the year 1963. On philosophy, economics. He has lots of things to do with literary piece of work. Students, am I audible? Students, am I audible? So, he was born in Farizabad, and he has graduated from the University of Harvard in the year 1963, and he has the great degrees in politics, philosophy, and economics. His father was an engineer during the Indo-Pak War, and he was working in the administrative of Indian government, where he was the representative in communication with India and Pakistan. Remember, before 1947, India is united with Pakistan. India was a huge country with Bangladesh, Burma, Pakistan, Afghanistan. All these countries are united after the independence of India. And these countries were separated from India, and they became independent countries. So after the separation, they were this particular man, the father of the author, was asked to keep in touch with that country. He was an engineer. He was working in the water resource company, where he was asked to meet the delegates of different countries and refugees in Shimla. And finally, they were asked to move to some other country where most of the education of the author completed in the other country. That's why he graduated from Harvard University. And his writing career was actually, he was a weekend writer. He was a columnist. He was a columnist for Times of India. That means he used to write lots of stories, short stories, for the magazines or the newspapers at the end of the week. And he published 3 plays, and all the 3 plays were published by Oxford University Press in the year 2001. Later, the same plays were republished by Penguin Publication in the year 2011. He has written 3 plays. One is Larin Sahib, which we are going to study very detailedly today. And next is Amira, and this particular literary piece of work which talks about a queen 17th century, and she's a Rajput queen. And literary piece of work is Jaco. It talks about Shimla hill station, and next and it talks about India's rebound Artha, that is a material well to reframe again the sentence. India's economic rise from independent global information age. How India Yeah, sorry students for the network issue. So I'll repeat again. And sorry, I couldn't connect. I couldn't talk to you because of some network issue. So I was talking to you about the literary piece of work written by Guru Charan Das. So he was born in the year 1943 on October 2nd in Farizabad, and he graduated from Harvard University 1963, and he got the honors in the subjects like philosophy, politics, and economics. If his father was an engineer during the partition of India and Pak, and he was a prime member in the government of India. As I mentioned you that he was an engineer, and he was the connecting figure between two countries. He was an engineer, and he was taking care of the water resources. And he was asked to move from different places to get the information. And he was also asked to go to different countries. And that's how Guru Charan Das got his education in abroad, as he was saying that, because initially when they were staying in the saving when they were living in India, and when they were staying in India, they were the refugees in Shimla. And when the his education was done at Harvard University, and all the three published by the Oxford University Press in the year, and later all the three plays were republished by Penguin Publication in 2011. So let us see what are the three plays he has written. He has written about Larin Sahib, that is one story which we are going to discuss in detail today. And next is Mira, that is a story about a 17th century Rajput queen. And the third one is Jaco Hills, and which talks about Shimla's hill station. And he also written trilogy, and is India's economic rise from independence to the global information age. So we are much sure that he has written lots of things about India's independence, India's economic status, India's economic status. So let us go deep in detail about this particular play. Students, remember, there are lots of differences between play and a novel. A novel might be a first person narration, or the second person narration, or the third person narration, where we get the information about a particular thing from different people. But whereas a drama, where we closely associate with the character, where they speak to one another. Even in Larin Sahib is a play where all the characters come out with their own opinions. I will go in detail description about the play, and before we discuss, let us see what are the characters, those who are involved. There is a Ranjit Singh. Ranjit Singh, when the play opens, we are told that he is no more, he died. He died. And the entire play is about, after the death of Ranjit Singh, how the British people ruled and how they have seen India in the year 1846 to 47. During this period, what happens or what happened is displayed in the drama entitled Larin Sahib. He is also one of the main characters. We, in the initial or the starting of the play, we are told that he died. Ranjit Singh. Next character is Henry Lawrence. Is the protagonist. Many of you don't know the meaning of protagonist. Protagonist means hero. Hero of the story. He is the first person to be employed in East India Company, or is the representative of India after the death of Ranjit Singh. And to give few information about Ranjit Singh is the king of Punjab, and he is also called as one-eyed lion. And throughout this play, it doesn't appear. It doesn't appear in the play. In the entire play, it doesn't appear. And we are told about him in the beginning of the play that he died. And his wife, another character, about the character is his wife. Her name is Rani Jindal, and she's the wife of Ranjit Singh. She was also called as Singing Queen of Banaras. Singing Queen of Banaras. And another character is Dalip Singh. He is also the son of Ranjit Singh and Rani Jindal. Now, he is the present Prince of Punjab. Remember, he is just 12 years of old. He is just 12 years of old. And there is one more character, that is Sher Singh, and is the guardian of Dalip Singh, and he is taking care of 12 years old boy. Remember, he is the person who educates Dalip Singh, son of Ranjit Singh. Ranjit Singh was a great king. He had a tremendous love towards the fellows, towards the people. He never wanted the people to be ruled by someone else. And we will speak about him later. And there is one more character. There are two more characters. One is Lal Singh and Tej Singh. And they are the courtiers of Punjab. And there are British characters, that is Lord Henry Harding, and he is the Governor General of India. And he represents British. And Lamsuddin, another character representing the British characters, one of the British officers who always aids the people of India. And there is one more character named Curry, and he is the new representative of Punjab. After Henry Lawrence, he was appointed. Oh, I will just go in detail about the play. And Lawrence Sahib is a historical play which was published in the year 1970. And this particular play talks about what had happened in India during the British rule during the year 1846 to 47. When I talk about 1846, just exactly after 100 years, 1847, that is 1947, India got independence from the British rule. The same way here, we were ruled by the British. We were ruled for many centuries by them. That's what we are told, that the sun of the British Empire never sets. Yes, UN, not S-O-N. Yes, UN. The sun in the British Empire never sets. That means the British ruled the world in different parts of the world. That means the sun never sets in their empire. That means British were everywhere. So what are the things we need to understand? How we were ruled, and did we have any freedom of thought, freedom of movement, freedom of expression during the British rule? We were controlled. We were the toys, and we were never had the opportunity to speak or express our own wishes to the public. If we have done it so, we will be shot dead, or we would have been shot dead. So that means we were controlled. Remember, British people came into India for a trading purpose or a business purpose. We were the owners of the land, the guests, the people, those who came here for the trading purpose or a business purpose. They have become the owners, and we have become the servants. If you are a history student, you will know much better about the British rule. With lots of people's effort, lots of people's life sacrifices, we could get the independence in the year 1947. There are two periods we should remember. That is pre-independent era and post-independent era. This particular play takes place in pre-independent era, where lords of kings ruled our nation, ruled our India. When we talk about from Mysore, from southern part of India to the northern part of India, lots of kings, there are Rajputs, and they were lots of kings who ruled us. We were under them, but they were controlled by the British. When the British people came into existence, came into India, and we were controlled by them. After the independence, we got the freedom of selecting our own leaders. So this is a small explanation of the background to the story which serves. And 1846 and 47, this is the period which we are going to see now. Ranjit Singh was a brave man, Ranjit Singh was a brave man. He never allowed the British people to enter India. He never allowed the British people to enter India, and he always protected the place, and he also had a tremendous love towards the people of his country. So this is the information here. After Ranjit Singh's death, the British people started to wage war against the Sikhs. That means against the people of northern India. That was the first Anglo-Sikh war. Remember, as I told you, there are two characters. One is Lal Singh and Tej Singh. They belong to India, but they are the people who have become the informers to the British. They started giving or leaking information to the British people. we were supposed to win the war against the British, first Anglo-Sikh war. Because of these two people, Lal Singh and Tem Singh, and we were defeated in the war. Exactly after 1 month of Ranjit Singh's death, the war ends. So people gather in a particular place to sign the treaty. This is how the play begins with. Lots of people from the British Empire, from the India's empire, that is Sikhs, lots of people gather in a particular place to sign the treaty. What is a treaty? Most of the history students know what is treaty. Treaty is a conclusion where they come to a conclusion so that the war is going to be ended peacefully with lots of rules and regulations to follow. And this particular war is entitled or named as Sobram. S-O-B-R-A-M, Sobram. They came there to sign the treaty. And which place they come? They gather near the Sutlej River to sign the treaty. Remember, Punjab is also a land of rivers. There are 5 rivers flow in that particular place. That's what Punjab. So they gather, all the people gather at Sutlej River to sign the treaty. And this particular place where they come there or where they gather there to sign the treaty, and lots of penalties were imposed on the Indian government. And this is also called as Lahore Treaty. This treaty name is Lahore Treaty, and it was signed on 9th of March 1846. 1846. The date on which the treaty was signed. All the people have gathered here. Even Henry Lawrence is also present. Lots of penalties were imposed on the Indian Empire. And what are the things in the treaty to be signed? And one is India's people have to hand over the land between Sutlej and between the rivers of peace. And remember, it is where the life of Punjab people grew. And the areas between Sutlej and Peace, it is an agricultural land. It is a fertile land. It was treated that that area should be handed over to the British. And next thing is, they should, and it should be, all the places should be given to the East India Company. And next is, the Indian people, they have to pay 4.5 crores intermity. Intermity means what? Compensation of war to the British people. And next rule is, or the next penalty is, to allow British Army to land in Lahore and other cities. That means British people or the British Army should move in different places, including Lahore. Remember why I'm talking about Lahore? That is, Lahore was also one of the places of India before pre-independence. And next point is to reduce Sikh army from 20,000 to 12,000. the soldiers of Sikh should be reduced from 20,000 to 12,000. And another point here is they have to surrender 36 guns to the British government. That means they are not supposed to possess any guns with them. Sikh people, they have to agree, because there is no condition as such, otherwise they would be killed. Whereas Henry Lawrence, remember, he was the first person to be appointed to the East India Company as a representative from India, objects all these things, saying why harsh punishment should be given to the people of India. But nobody listened to him, because when he objected all these punishments, and people of the British company, they were just making the people to be afraid, This serves as an introduction to the poem entitled Lawrence Sahib. And remember, Henry Lawrence was to be appointed as a representative in India after the death of Ranjit Singh. Remember, since Dalip Singh was 12 years old, Henry Lawrence takes in charge of safeguarding the people's reputation in India. And he never lost the confidence of the people. Henry Lawrence had a tremendous love towards Ranjit Singh. The way he ruled, the way he loved the people, the way he safeguarded the people, and his braveness, and personally he had a tremendous love and respect towards him, towards Ranjit Singh. Who has love towards Ranjit Singh? That is Henry Lawrence. Henry Lawrence. One day, he goes and meets the wife of Ranjit Singh, that is Rani Jindan, and they talk various ill treatment of British people towards the Indians. And they talk in length about the cow slaughter. That means British people kill lots of cows in India. But whereas, remember one thing, cow is worshipped as God in India. By the Sikh people, they worship cow as God. One day, as Lambuddin, that is the representative of the British, when he was driving, and lots of cows come across his way, and he ordered the British people to kill or shoot down the cows. So the sacred animals are killed. So when this was reported to Henry Lawrence feels sympathy towards Indian people. So even Henry feels sorry about this act. So he asks apology in front of the people on behalf of Lambuddin. So remember, Henry Lawrence is the person who wanted to connect. He acts as an agent between the British and the Indians. So he feels sorry and he openly comes and asks apology. He wanted to ask apology in front of the people. So let us see what happens further. And he wanted to ask sorry, apology to the people, and is going to openly ask apology at a particular place named Shah Alami Gate. Shah Alami Gate is going to ask apology to the people. When Rani Zindan hears all these things from Henry Lawrence, she greatly appreciates and thinks high about Henry Lawrence and how he cares for India and how he cares for people, how he always appreciates the well-doings of Ranjit Singh. Next day, when Rani Zindan disguises herself as Zubaydah Begum and goes and meets Henry Lawrence. Remember, the love towards Henry Lawrence in the heart of Rani Zindan sprouts like a fast-growing tree. So she disguises herself as Zabida Begum, meets Henry Lawrence, and she highly speaks of Henry Lawrence. But whereas Henry Lawrence recognizes that the lady who is disguised herself as Zahida Begum is none other than Rani Zindan. And he openly asks her, why have you disguised yourself as a Muslim lady? And why are you appreciating me? You could have openly told me all the things as Rani Zindan. But she has come here to tell him something very new, where she tells him not to go to the place that is Shah Alami Gate to ask apology to the people of India. And she feels or she has heard from someone or one of the soldiers that there is a danger waiting for Ranjit Singh at Shah Alami Gate. So she openly tells not to go to that particular place. But whereas he doesn't care for it, as she keeps on telling him not to go, but still the love grows in her. But he refuses a request of not refusal of not making him to go to that particular place to ask apology to the public. But when he refused, the love still grows in her heart. And our love, Rani Zindan, gives a Kohinoor diamond. Remember, it was a precious gift, only owned by the Indian royal people. It belongs to the royal family of India. And she gifts Henry Lawrence, telling him that it is not a presentation, it is not a gift, asking him to keep it safe, keep it very safe. And he keeps it very safe. Whenever Rani Zindan asks it back, he should be in a position to give that particular diamond back to Rani Zindan. Henry Lawrence again is called as Lawrence Sahib by Sher Singh, and he was called as Lawrence Sahib by Sher Singh, and This is the title of the play, Laran Sahib. Laran Sahib is a faithful creature to India's ruling party. What are India's people, or royal people, or the kings and the queens, or Indians. So here, Henry Lawrence is called as Laran Sahib by Sher Singh. Is the first one to call him, and is named after Laran Sahib. Henry Lawrence goes there to that particular place, Shah Alami gave, to ask apology to the public. When he goes there, and suddenly he hears the fire from the guns, firing from the British army. Several innocent soldiers were killed in that battle or in that fire. British people took this as an advantage, where all the Sikh people gathered in that particular place. But remember, Henry Lawrence was always informed or cautioned about the problems that is going to come ahead. Lots of hundreds of Sikh people were killed. When Henry Lawrence was coming there, when he was coming there to that particular place, lots of people were chanting his name like this: Henry Lawrence Zindabad, Henry Lawrence Zindabad, like that. All the people were just chanting his name, but he never sensed that the sudden attack would come on the people of Sikh. He was informed that only Henry Lawrence has got the problems. But whereas here we are told that innocent Sikh people were killed. And remember, Henry Lawrence was given a diamond to keep it with him. But whereas he never kept it secret, and he was wearing along with his chain. Sher Singh notices all these things, and this diamond, he thinks that this diamond belongs to the royal family. And why Henry Lawrence is wearing this one? It doubts the relationship between Henry Lawrence and Rani Zindan. The suspicious attitude grows in the heart of Sher Singh. And again, Henry Lawrence meets Rani Zindan and asks apology. And he just tells that I've never expected these things to happen. And this makes him to move a little closer with Rani Zindan. So illegitimate relationship grows. Now he is called Angris Basha, or reincarnation of Ranjit Singh. And he was also called as Angus Basha, or reincarnation of Ranjit Singh. Is transformed himself as Indian, and Henry Lawrence, the title, the name itself tells us that it doesn't belong to India's culture. We are not given any information about where he was brought up, who are his parents, and why we need to understand the psychological aspects of Henry Lawrence, whether he will be loyal to India, is transformed himself as Indian. But whereas Sher Singh keeps on noticing all the changes in Henry Lawrence. Let us move further where we were told in the beginning of the play where there is Dalip Singh. And there is one more character, Baba, and he's the tutor to Dalip Singh. And when he was teaching or when he was giving moral education to Dalip Singh, and he informs all the things to Dalip Singh, what had happened, how his father was killed, and how his father looked after the country, and how the people of India loved Ranjit Singh. And after his father's death, how his own land was taken over by the British, and what are the things the British people do in India, how they ill-treat the people of India. All these informations were passed to Dalip Singh. He is just 12 years of old. And this 12 years of old Dalip Singh gets angry and he wanted to take revenge. Rani Zindal tells him to wait for the right moment. She asks him to wait for the right moment. And meanwhile, the story is shifted to different places there, where a lady comes there to meet Henry Lawrence, and she always, she wanted to meet him before, but now she has got the opportunity to meet. She has got the opportunity to meet, and she comes and informs, my husband recently passed away, and I was made to sit on the fire to kill myself. That means the sati paddhati, the practice of sati. What is sati? If a husband died, even the wife should be killed in the same pyre, funeral pyre, where she should also sacrifice her life. And she comes there and informs all the things. My children are very young. If I also die, who will take care of my children? She comes and informs Henry Lawrence all the things that had happened. And she refuges against the system of sati. And she comes there to Henry Lawrence to get some justice. Henry Lawrence says that this should be abolished. From today onwards, the practice of sati system in our country is abolished, whereas the women who have lost or who are going to lose their husbands are going to stay alive forever. This is the superstitious belief. So this is the superstitious belief. And all the superstitious belief should be eradicated from our India. This is what Henry Lawrence feels. All the good works of Henry Lawrence takes his reputation higher and higher. Higher and higher. So He becomes a good man in the eyes of all the people of India. Remember, the story doesn't end here. One day, he receives a summons from Calcutta, and Calcutta is a center for East India Company. Remember, he receives a summons from Kolkata court. Lots of cases were filed against him. What are the cases filed against him? The arrest of Lal Singh and Tej Singh. You have arrested all these two people. Why have you arrested? That is the question. Next case is non-surrender of Lahore revenue for a month. Remember, in the treaty, when it was signed at Sutlej River in 1846, and it was decided that the revenue of Lahore and other places should be given every month to the British people. But he failed to give last month's revenue to British people. The case was filed against him. And next is acceptance of Kohinoor diamond, which belongs to the royal family of India. And it was reported by Sher Singh to the British people, where he accepted diamond, Kohinoor diamond, from Rani Zindal. And these were the cases filed against him. Remember, he lives in Delhi, or he lives in Punjab, and he is summoned to come to Kolkata all the way from Punjab, and he doesn't give any answer to them. And he asks, am I asked to come here to answer these petty questions? You have asked me to come all the way from Punjab to Calcutta to answer these petty questions. P-E-T-T-Y, petty, small questions. Don't you have any other jobs to do? And all the 3 cases or 4 cases filed against him look so small or petty. After a week, he returns to Punjab. After a week, he returns to Punjab and informs Rani Zindal to exile from this country, as there is a problem or there is a danger which is coming in our way. Maybe when Henry Lawrence, who is also called as Lawrence Sahib, he senses that there is some danger which is going to come to Rani Zindal, and he openly informs her to exile herself from the country. That means to go away from this country to save your life. Remember, we are, or the people of the whole India, were under the control of British. Under the control of British, where one cannot clearly escape from the harsh punishment. If you're caught, you will be hanged or you will be killed mercilessly. That is the intention of the British people. What is their intention? Their intention is to loot the entire property of India. So let us see the progress of the play here. When Ranjit Singh or Lawrence Sahib informs her to exile herself from the country, she demands the diamond which she has presented to him. And he, that is Henry Lawrence, tells him that he has presented as a gift to Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria. Rani Zindal gets angry because she never informed Henry Lawrence that she should give, or he should give it to someone else. She never informed him to wear it in his fingers, but whereas he used to wear it in his chain. But when she asks Henry Lawrence to give that particular diamond to her, and he openly tells that he has presented as a gift to Queen Victoria, Rani gets angry. Before she exiles Curry, another representative of British people, is appointed to Punjab, whereas Henry Lawrence was shifted to Calcutta. And when Curry came into the post in Punjab, and he puts Rani Zindal into the prison, that is in Shekhapura prison. Shekhapura prison, that's the name of the place where she was sent to the jail. And he keeps on shifting the prison of Rani Zindal. So from Shekhapura prison to Banaras prison, while shifting the prison from Shekhapura prison to Banaras prison, Rani Zindal escapes and goes to Nepal, and we are informed that where she died there. From Banaras prison she escapes and she goes to Nepal, where we are informed that she died in Nepal after a few years. Look at the ill treatment belonging to the royal family. Belonging to the royal family, where Rani Zindal is not left free to accept the freedom of movement. When the British were not in that particular country, when Ranjit Singh was there, remember she is the wife of Ranjit Singh, and she has experienced or she has seen many ups and downs in her life. Many ups and downs in her life. When she was arrested, she might have sensed something is wrong with herself. Something is wrong with herself. And she could have felt bad about the ill treatment of the British. Remember, once upon a time, she possessed the greatest, the precious diamond, Kohinoor diamond of the world with her. But whereas now she is left homeless and she is transformed into different or various prisoners as convict. where she tried a level best to escape, and she succeeds in escaping. And finally, look at her end. She never dies in her motherland, but she dies in an alien land, that is in Nepal. A love towards the motherland is not fulfilled at the end. Lots of fear about life. And she had the intention to live little more, little longer, but whereas the circumstances made her to die. She never committed suicide. We are not given any information as such. We are told that she escaped from Banaras prison and she died in Nepal. And let us see what happens to her son, Dalip Singh. Dalip Singh also exiled to Sussex, England. Exiled means asked to move out of the country. Asked to move out of the country to Sussex, England, where he could meet lots of people Students, am I audible? Yeah. Sorry, students, due to some network issue. Yeah. I was discussing. So there is a problem with the network. Students, am I audible? Sorry, students, due to some network issue. So we were discussing about how Rani Zindal is has escaped from the prison and how she died there. And the same punishment with Dalit Singh. He also exiled to Sussex, England. So in England, remember when the story, when the play opened, and we are told that he is 12 years of age, and he goes to Sussex, England, and he gets married to a girl, and he remained as a black prince in Queen Victoria's court. And the prince of young age who was ruling in India, and finally he has to accept the fate to be exiled from India to live with some other people in Sussex, England. And this particular story, the concept of the story is how the British people ruled India for 1 year. The lots of questions will arise in our minds whether we had, or whether the people of India had a fruitful ruling of the British. Is there anyone who has enjoyed the ruling of the British? We were ill-treated. There are many people who have got benefited from the British, but whereas majority, 90% of the people have not got benefited. They are ill-treated. Remember, the purpose of British people to come to India is to loot the luxurious things. We are told that the Kohinoor diamond, which is considered to be the precious diamond of India, and it is found in England. Once upon a time, the India is always filled with lots of richness. All the richness are stolen. This is how this particular play, which takes place for 1 year, 1846 to 47, what happened in Punjab and what kind of ruling that took place during the period of 1846 to 47. So what are the probable questions that may be asked? As an open elective student, you need to study the study materials that is given to you. Go through the study materials very well. And the questions may be like this. You will be asked like this, and write a note on Henry Lawrence. Or what is the role played by Henry Lawrence in the entire play entitled Lawrence Sahib? Or comment on the title of the play Lawrence Sahib. Or how does Guru Charan Das try to project the British rule in India over a year in 1846 to 47? You may be asked, compare and contrast the two characters, Rani Zindal and King Ranjit Singh. Write a short note on British characters. Remember, students, most of you don't have the background to English literature. Remember and always cultivate the habit of learning or loving literature. Once if you start loving, definitely don't read for the sake of examination. Just read for the sake of enjoyment. Literature is always filled with lots of things, lots of positive things. You might be studying English literature as open elective papers only for 2 semesters, first semester and second semester. Last year, you might have studied about Raja Ram Mohan Roy's letter to Lord Hammerest and other literary pieces. But your learning should not stop here. Lots of literature, maybe Kannada literature, Sanskrit literature, English literature, whatever the literary piece, the humanities I'm talking about. It has its own beauty to project. As a teacher, I just keep on repeating, love a particular piece of art and try to visualize, try to criticize, try to read between the lines. Lawrence Sahib is not a difficult text for you to understand or comprehend. You can read through the entire text once before you write answers in the question paper. Then you will become a good learner and you will become a good listener. Don't think that your responsibility as an open elective student comes to an end when the examination is over. Keep on having the relationship with the department. Since morning, all our faculties are engaged in engaging the classes for you. You are this second semester you are having Indian English literature. Indian English literature is always filled with lots of richness. When we just learn Indian English literature, we come to know what kind of development took place in the field of literature in India. What are the major contributions of Indian writers to Indian English literature or maybe other literary fields? So I hope I have covered this text from the beginning till the end. Please read through the entire text once before you make an attempt and study well. And if you have any doubts, please come to the department. We are here to clarify your doubts. Thank you, students, and keep all the points which I've explained to you. If there is any questions, you can ask me, otherwise we will wind up the class. Yeah, thank you, students.
Yeah, good afternoon, dear students. I think this is second semester interdisciplinary open elective. I think this is the second semester students. The class is for second semester students. Uh, Today morning, due to some technical glitch, I missed the class. There was no proper internet facility. Due to that, I could not engage our class in the morning. So I was talking about Carnot's Hayavadana in the morning session. You all know that Hayavadana is a play which was published in the year 1971. You all know that Girish Karnad was one of the prominent uh, writer in Kannada literature. He has also written his works in English language. Okay, one of the prominent writer in Kannada literature, but he has also written most of his works are written in English language. And to highlight few important works of Karnad, he has written a play called Yayati, which was published in 1961, and Tughlaq, which is a historical play, which was published in the year 1964. A historical play on the life history of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, a Mughal king. And he has also written a play called Nagamandala, which was published in 1988. And Ayavadana was published in 1971. And Karnad belongs to Navya Kavya movement. Navya Kavya movement means it belongs to modern literature, modern poetry, modern group of poets, Navya Kavya movement. And Ayavadana is considered as one of the Girish Karnad's one of Karnad's most remarkable work, remarkable work, and Karnad's work as the tone and expression, of a great drama. Okay, his works, particularly drama, has got the tone and expression of any great drama. At the same time, Girish Karnad was involved in film acting. He acted in few films also. And again, particularly in the movies like uh, again in the movies like Samskara, which was written, a novel written by U.R. Ananthamurthy. He acted in the leading role. He acted in the leading role in the movie called Samskara, which is based on U.R. Ananthamurthy's novel Samskara. So in 1970, he played the lead role in that movie. That movie was released in 1970, and he also enacted in the teleserial called Malgudi Days, directed by Shankarna, which was telecasted in 1986 and 87. And he also directed and acted in the movie called Vamsharuksha, Vamsharuksha, which was released in the year 1971, for which he got a national award as the best director, national award in the category best director. So at the same time, he also enacted in the movie like Kanuru Ekadati. Kanuru Ekadati, Kannada movies like Kanuru Ekadati and also Mysuru Mallige, isn't it? A very renowned theatre artist, along with that movie actor, teleserial actor, at the same time a prominent writer in English language. At the same time, most of his works uses the conventions and motifs of folk tales and theatre. So Carnard uses the conventions and motifs, MOTIFS, motifs of folk tales and theatre. You know what all they use in theatre. The equipments like they use masks, curtain, at the same time dolls, and normally you find a story within a story in Carnard plays. You find a story within a story to create a bizarre world. At the same time, Carnard had an outstanding ability as a writer. He had an outstanding ability and the power to transform any normal or common situation into an aesthetic experience. As a writer, he had that ability to transform any common situation or normal situation into an aesthetic experience. Into an aesthetic experience. When it comes to Ayavadana, he borrows the source for Ayavadana. The source for Ayavadana, he borrows it from Katha Sarita Sagara. Plot for Ayavadana comes from Katha Sarita Sagara. What is Katha Sarita Sagara? An ancient compilation. An ancient compilation of stories written in Sanskrit language. He borrows source from Katha Sarita Sagara. At the same time, Ayavadana, critics believe that Carnard might be influenced by Thomas Mann's book, The Transported Heads. A famous book called The Transported Heads of Thomas Mann. Thomas Mann's The Transported Heads, is the book which had an influence or impact on Girish Carnard. At the same time, Girish Carnard, as a writer from Indian background, as a writer who belongs to Hindu religion, he was fully aware about the Hindu mythologies, and the greatness of Carnard is he uses those mythologies for his benefit. He uses the Hindu mythologies or even the historical characters to convey again, he gives modern touch to the historical characters or mythological characters, and gives a message to, he wants to convey or give a message to the modern readers by connecting. He tries to connect past with the present. Okay, like Eliot, he tries to connect past with the present. He brings in so many mythological characters and also historical characters, and gives a modern touch, to it, so that to make it easy for the readers to understand and to assimilate. At the same time, what do you find in Thomas Mann's book, The Transported Heads? The Transported Heads is a book. It's a very, very important book, which was published during 1930s. Again, very, very crucial, because there in that book, Thomas Mann ridicules the mechanical notion of life, which differentiates between body and soul, which differentiates between body and soul. At the same time, in that book, Thomas Mann, in that book, The Transported Heads, Thomas Mann ridicules the philosophy that holds the head superior to the body. So, Manavana Dehadalli, head is considered as the temple of the body. Kadasa anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ತಲೆನೆ ವನ್ನ ಕಳಸವಯ್ಯ. So kalasa ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, because it's an integral part of human body, head, because it consists of what? All the sensory organs. At the same time, you have eyes, sensory organs like eyes, ears, and also nose, tongue, isn't it? At the same time, the head also consists of brain, where you have to, by using brain, you have to think and act, isn't it? So most of the there is an established notion or feeling in the human world that head is an integral part of human body, and it is superior. So people have this notion that it is superior in the human body, which is wrong, because all the parts in the human body are intelligent. Important. You cannot say that by using it, since it consists of brain, man is called as an intelligent animal, and that's right, that's okay. But you cannot deny the fact that almost all the parts in the human body are integral. They are very, very necessary, important, because each part of the body, human body, has certain job or certain function to perform, isn't it? You cannot say that without heart we cannot live, because heart pumps the blood, isn't it? So heart is considered as because heart pumps the blood to human brain also. So heart is located in the chest. So you cannot say that head is superior to body, which is wrong. Okay. At the same time, everything in every part of the human body is important. So if there is some deficiency, if there is some deformity, physical deformity in the human body, you cannot say the man is complete. So when can you say that the man is complete? A complete man, when he has all the parts of the body intact. At the same time, when his brain is also working in a good state. When you say that a man is sound, okay, man normally, when do you call a man a sound personality? When he has a sound body and a sound mind, when he is physically and mentally strong, isn't it? So every part of the body is important. So if you have a deformity, or if you have deformed part of body, at any part of your body, if there is any deformity, you cannot be called as complete. So whom do you call as a complete man? Who has a sound body and a sound mind, isn't it? So, Karnat's Ayavadana, this play, Ayavadana, possesses a problem. What is that problem? That a human identity in a world tangled with what? Tangled with relationships. This particular play poses a problem. Poses a problem. This particular play poses a problem that human identity in a world tangled in relationship. How do you because we are all connected in the human world. We are all connected, interconnected. We are all tangled with each other in relationships. So how can you come out of the relationship? So we need necessary, it is very much necessary, we need relationships because we are all living in community based life. So social community, we are living in a sphere called social community. So what I have to do? We have to understand the importance of relationships in the human world. So that is what this play focuses on. So Karnat's Ayavadana poses a problem that a human identity in a world tangled with what? Tangled with relationships. Tangled with relationships. So what do you see in the play Ayavadana? The play, when the play opens, you can see the play opens with an invocation song to Ganesha, Lord Ganesha, who is considered as Vigna Vinashaka. So Vigna Vinashaka, you can see that the poem again, the play begins with the puja is done, the Bhagavata is the Sutradhara. Okay, Sutradhara. The Bhagavata sings the verses in praise of Ganesha, accompanied by whom? Accompanied by some of the musicians. Okay, some of the musicians. Why exactly the author? Why does the author prefers Vigna Vinashaka as the right God, as the God whom you can use in the invocation, because even Ganesha is considered as Vigna Vinashaka or Vinayaka. Even Ganesha is not complete. When it comes to his physical body, you can see Ganesha is incomplete because Ganesha has the elephant's head. At the same time, Ganesha has human body and a broken tusk. ದಂತ ಕೂಡ ಮುರಿದಿದೆ. ಗಣೇಶ ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಗಿದೆ? The Lord Ganesha is not perfect, is not complete, because Ganesha's head is of elephant's head. So Ganesha's body is human body, and Ganesha's even the stomach, the belly is cracked belly, and Ganesha has broken tusk, isn't it? So Ganesha is an embodiment of imperfection. According to Karnad, since Karnad uses Ganesha as the right example, so from our mythology, because even in our mythology, amongst the Hindu gods, Ganesha, who is considered as Vigna Vinashaka, even Ganesh, the god, the Ganesha, the god, or the younger son of Lord Shiva, is physically deformed, he is not complete. Even Ganesha is incomplete, is an embodiment of imperfection. And he is incomplete, isn't it? And he is also called as Vakratunda Mahakaya. Vakratunda. So Vakra, Danta, Kuda Tunda, Vakratunda Mahakaya, and with his crooked face and distorted body. So again, Ganesha doesn't appear beautiful or handsome like Subramanya, isn't it? So his crooked body, the body shape of Ganesha is not physically, Ganesha physically is not fit. He is having crooked belly, isn't it? He appears like cracked belly, and also a distorted body. His body is distorted. He has cracked belly, and is called as Vakratunda Mahakaya. With his crooked face and distorted body, is the Lord and Master of success and perfection. Is he the Lord and Master of success and perfection? He is having the he is asking that question to the readers through Bhagavata, Karnad. Because Karnad is fully aware that amongst the Hindu gods, Ganesha is incomplete, Ganesha is imperfect. He has cracked belly, and distorted body. At the same time, he has a broken tusk. He has a broken tusk. His body is human body, and his head is what? Elephant's head. It is not for us to understand this mystery or try to unravel it. So by bringing in the example of Lord Ganesha at the initial stage, Carnard wants to say something. He wants to prove a point that nothing, even God is imperfect. Even God is incomplete. So not only man, even God is incomplete. God is incomplete and God is imperfect. So for that, he uses the example of Lord Ganesha. So what happens in the play? The play begins with there is a city, no, there is a city, a place called Dharmapura. There is a place called Dharmapura. It's an imaginary place. It's an imaginary place called Dharmapura, which is ruled by a king called Dharmashila. Dharmashila is the name of the king who is ruling Dharmapura. It's an imaginary place. And there in the city called Dharmapura, which is ruled by the king Dharmashila, there are two good friends. Closest friends they are called as Devadatta, and one is Devadatta. There are two good friends, best friends called Devadatta and Kapila. Devadatta is man of intellect. Devadatta is called as man of intellect, whereas you have Kapila, who is man of a good stout physical body. Okay, he is well built, strong, and you have two good friends. So one is intelligent, and other one is Devadatta is intelligent, smart, whereas Kapila is physically strong, well built. And Kapila is known as a great wrestler, Kustipattu, wrestler in the city of Dharmapura. So Kapila, this relationship, what happens in the story? This relationship gets spoiled. Kapila and Devadatta and Kapila are good friends. This relationship gets spoiled when Devadatta marries a girl called Padmini. This relationship gets complicated or spoiled when Devadatta marries a beautiful girl called Padmini. What happens in the story? Kapila falls in love with Padmini. Whereas on the other side, she too, Padmini too starts liking or drifting. She also starts drifting towards Kapila. She gets attracted towards Kapila. Because Kapila, though he is not mentally intelligent or strong, he is physically he is very strong. He might not be he might not be intelligent. He's not a man of intellect. Kapila is a man of good, stout, physical body. He's very strong, powerful, well-built body. He goes to gymnasium, and he performs all kinds of gyms. And he's a good wrestler, a noted, established wrestler in the city of Dharmapura. That's another important factor. So what is that? We have Dharmapura, a city called Dharmapura, ruled by the king called Dharmashila, and there we have two friends, best friends. One is Devadatta and another one is Kapila, two good friends. Devadatta intelligent, Kapila physically strong. So two of the best friends, their relationship gets spoiled or complicated when Devadatta marries Padmini. So Kapila then after a few days, even Kapila falls in love with Padmini. So he gets attracted towards Padmini, and Padmini also starts loving Kapila. Now her attention starts drifting towards Kapila. And what happens in the story? So in one particular scene, in a particular scene, hilarious again, which is hilariously comic. There is a particular scene which is hilariously comic. HILLOUR hilariously. OHILLA sorry HILLARIOUSLLY hilariously again comic. HILLARIOUSLY hilariously comic. There is an hilariously comic scene in the play. Okay, that in that comic scene, again you can see the entire scene is dramatic. The entire scene is dramatic, and you can see there is a connotation where this Padmini transforms the head of Devadatta with Kapila's body, and Kapila's head is fixed with Devadatta's body. You can see Padmini, she takes both Devadatta and Kapila to a place in the forest, where we can see the goddess of Kali. Kali's temple is located. Kali's temple is located in the forest of Mount Chitrakut. Mount Chitrakut. Okay, she has a plan of taking these two friends there, and she gets attracted with Kapila's body, but she doesn't want to give up Devadatta, who is intelligent. Okay, in order to get what she wishes for, she wants Devadatta's head fixed to Kapila's body. So what she does, in order to get what she is wishing for, or she wishes for, what she desires, what she does, she takes them. She takes both Kapila and Devadatta on a trip to Mount Chitrakut. Mount Chitrakut is the place where we find the temple of Kali, located in the forest. And these three characters go there, and Padmini does a trick there in that scene, which is hilarious scene, which is also a dramatic scene. This cunning Padmini, in order to get what she desired for, she cuts the head of Kapila and also Devadatta. She interchanges the head of Devadatta. She changes the head of Devadatta. She fixes the Kapila's body with Devadatta's head and Devadatta's body with Kapila's head. You can see the interchanging. She transposes their heads, giving Devadatta Kapila's body, and Kapila to Devadatta's body. As a result, she gets what? She gets a desired man. As a result, she gets a desired complete man. Isn't it? The result is confusion of identities that reveals the ambiguous nature of human personality. So you can see the result is a confusion. So that creates a lot of confusion here, because Devadatta with Kapila's body and Kapila with Devadatta's head, Kapila with Devadatta's body. You can see the lot of confusion created here. Let's see what happens. Devadatta stops reading the text because Devadatta has Devadatta has Kapila's body now. Devadatta's head. Devadatta, though he has the head, he has the body of Kapila, though his head is interchanged with Kapila's body or transplanted with Kapila's body, we can see that Devadatta stops reading books. So we can see the change happening already. Devadatta stops reading texts, while Kapila is haunted by the memories of Devadatta's body. Because Devadatta's body already had a physical relationship with Padmini. It is Kapila's head, which is in Devadatta's body. And Devadatta's body already had a physical union with Padmini. Since he is since he is owning the body of Devadatta, you can feel a kind of physical attraction happening in the mind of Kapila. He gets attracted with Padmini because the same body of Devadatta had sex with Padmini after their marriage. And you can see the change. Again, he is haunted by the memories of Devadatta's body. Whatever that the body of Devadatta experienced in the past, before it got Kapila's head. So that again, those memories started to haunt. Again, those memories started to haunt Kapila's mind now. Okay, Padmini. Look at the condition of Padmini now on the other side. On the other side, Padmini, after the exchange of heads, had felt that she had the best of both. She had the best of both of them and gets slowly disappointed. So she wanted Devadatta's head in Kapila's body. So she felt that whatever she desired for, she finally got. So what happens later on in the story? So she started to feel disappointed because again you can see the a kind of disappointment slowly looming into the mind of Padmini. Okay, of the three, only she has the capacity for the complete experience. Only she has the capacity to experience what to experience this change in the body and heads of Kapila and Devadatta. You know, she is the one who is able to experience the impact of that transposition or change of heads to those bodies. She cannot control the circumstances in which she is placed. She is in a difficult situation now, whether to sleep with Kapila or to sleep with Devadatta. Because Devadatta has Kapila's body, whereas Kapila has got Devadatta's body. Kapila's head has got Devadatta's body. So the baffling story ends with what? Ends with the sword fight. The story ends with the sword fight. Katti varase agatte. The baffling end. How does the story end? So the end is like it's a tragic ending. So they don't know how to sort out the issue now. Padmini has transposed the heads of Kapila and Devadatta. She doesn't know how to refix those heads now. So what happens? The baffling ends. The baffling story ends. The baffling story ends with the sword fight. Katti varase agate. After which both the friends die. So after what happens? After the sword fight, both the friends they die again. They die by killing each other. By killing each other, both the friends they die. So Padmini sacrifices her life through Sati system. That's another important factor. Sati system, though it's an ancient custom in India, most of the women to prove their virginity at the same time to prove their chastity, at the same time to prove their loyalty to their husbands, particularly in the states of Assam and Gujarat, the Sati system was still in practice till Raja Ram Mohan Rai came and did some social reforms. These women, when they used to lose their husbands, when their husbands were dead, these women in the past in states like Rajasthan and Gujarat, so soon after their husbands died due to some reasons, their wives were not supposed to live They were supposed to die along with their husbands. So what they used to do, they used to jump. They used to jump into the funeral pyre. Funeral pyre. So normally it's nothing but it is equivalent to committing suicide. So according to the custom, they had no right. The women in the past, the traditional women in the past, in states like Rajasthan and Gujarat, they were not supposed to live after the death of their husbands. They have to jump into the funeral pyre. They have to give up their life. So that is what the practice was during those days, which Padmini also adopts, which Padmini also follows. So Padmini follows the same thing here. She also commits suicide by jumping into the fire. Okay, she dies the sati. She dies like a sati. Okay, sati sahagamana paddhati, which was there in practice in India. So in order to prove her chastity, virginity, she dies because both Kapila and Devadatta, they have killed each other in front of that Kali temple, okay, by fighting. And here this lady jumps into the fire, Padmini, and dies like a true sati, like a true sati. And the death of the tree is not portrayed tragically. The death saves only, sorry, the death of the tree is not projected or portrayed tragically. At the same time, the death portrays or serves only to emphasize what? To emphasize the logic, behind the absurdity of the situation. The absurdity of the situation. The subplot, there is a subplot. The play has a subplot. What is that subplot? In the subplot, you can see Ayavadana. Ayavadana means a creature which has human body with a horse head, which enters the stage. In the initial part of the play, we can see Ayavadana, which it's a creature, type of creature, a man who has the horse head. Yeah, Ayavadana is the man. It's a kind of creature which has got human body with the head of the horse, So in the subplot, you can see Ayavadana, the horseman. You can call him as horseman. Deepens the significance of the main theme. So there is a plot there is a play within the play. You know, Ayavadana in the initial part of the play comes and meets Bhagavata, who is praising the glory of Lord Ganesha. He meets Bhagavata and seeks his assistance to change his head from horse head to the human head. He wants to change it. He doesn't like to have the horse head and he cannot move on from one place to another place because he feels that people are teasing behind him. And you can see Ayavadana, when he comes and meets the Bhagavata advises Ayavadana to go and perform puja in the temple of Kali, located in the Mount Chitrakoot. So Bhagavata advises Ayavadana to follow the same thing as it happened in the life of Padmini and Devadatta. So you want to go there and to meet and perform, to see and perform puja of Goddess Kali, to do puja of Goddess Kali. So where you can find the completeness, where you can take the help of Kali and remove the horse head and place a human head if he wants. So the horseman search for completeness, hence comically as he becomes a complete horse. So instead of getting human head, what happens in the story? Again, the man with the horse head again becomes a complete horse because the same horse head gets the horse body, okay, and becomes a complete horse in the story. The animal body triumphs over what is considered the best in man. So what is considered the best in man is replaced with what? Animal body. The animal body triumphs over what is considered the best in man. The the Uttama again, Uttamaga, the human heads, probably to make a point, Karnad comes, names the play. So the reason behind naming the play, Ayavadana is Ayavadana is just an example. He uses just Ayavadana as an example. So to come to the conclusion, to come to the conclusion on one significant factor. What is that? So we all struggle for one thing in life. We all struggle or search for what? The completeness in life. The completeness in life, which we fail to attain. We are all in search of completeness. So completeness in life, which we normally fail to attain or fail to get. Because attaining human perfection or human completeness is simply a difficult job. It's simply a difficult job. No man is perfect. That is what Plato says. No man is perfect. All human beings have that deficiency, have that imperfection, have that incompleteness. No man is made or created as complete man. So, you know the story of Albert Einstein and Marilyn Monroe. What happens when Marilyn Monroe proposes Albert Einstein to marry her? So, in the story, Marilyn Monroe's proposal of marriage proposal to Einstein was rejected by Einstein. He says when she says that if we marry and if we can produce a child who is beautiful and intelligent like you and beautiful like me, it would be a great grace of God. It would be a blessing of God. But Einstein on that occasion says, so what happens if the child gets your brain and my physical appearance? Because Einstein knew very well that comparatively to Marilyn Monroe, when it comes to beauty, he was nowhere near to her. She was beautiful, whereas she lacked what? The intellect. Einstein was intelligent, though he was not handsome, he was intelligent. So he gave a befitting reply there. So what happens? So what I want to draw, again, what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to draw your attention through the story that being perfect, being complete is not at all possible for human beings. You cannot achieve that completeness or perfection. So man's main concern, so the play, Carnot's main concern, Carnot's main concern in this play is incompleteness, human incompleteness. At the same time, he also speaks about ideal world and the real conflict we all encounter in life. At the same time, the play also speaks about indecisive human nature. Indecisive human nature. At the same time, the play also speaks on the issue called identity crisis. We all human beings suffer from identity crisis. The play also speaks on identity crisis, indecisive human nature. Indecisive human nature means what? Again, human beings normally suffer with indecisions. We are not capable of making proper decisions in life, isn't it? So indecisiveness, indecisive human nature, at the same time identity crisis, at the same time ideal and realistic conflict, and at the same time incompleteness. So at the same time, casteism is another important factor. Kapila belongs to the blacksmith community. You can see casteism, the theme of casteism, where Devadatta chairs or makes fun of Kapila, and is cast somewhere in the play. Let me read out. So he brings in the caste element there. Act 1, Devadatta, why don't you go home? All I wanted was to be by myself for a day, alone. And you had to come and start your chatter. What do you know of poetry and literature? What do you know of poetry and literature? ನಿನಗೇನು ಗೊತ್ತು poetry ಮತ್ತು literature? Go back, go back to your Smriti. Go back to your Smriti. Smriti means what? Go back. Smriti means ಆ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಸ್ಮಿತ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಮಿತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಕಬ್ಬಿಣ ಕಾಯಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಮಿತಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಬೆಂಕಿ ಜ್ವಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಗೋ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಸ್ಮಿತಿ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಯು ಬಿಲಾಂಗ್. What do you know about, what do you know of poetry and literature? So here Devadatta is what? Directly pointing at Kapila's caste. Kapila belongs to the blacksmith community, the hard-working blacksmith community, and that is the reason why he has a stout, well-built physical body. At the same time, he was a wrestler. In the play, he's a wrestler, well-built. He goes to gymnasium, and look at the tone again. The tone and approach of Devadatta. He appears to be casteist. You can see. What do you know of poetry and literature? Go back to your Smriti. That's where you belong. So he is directly pointing out at Kapila and his caste, which is, you can see, casteism is another major theme in the play. And you have gender inequalities. You have gender inequalities where you can see Padmini is put into what? Greater trouble, and Padmini has no choice at all. She is not given the choice to pick, isn't it? And you can see how one can fathom the mystery that this Vakratunda Mahakaya with his crooked face, his distorted body, is the master of success and reflection. So this particular question, Karnad asks the reader, so how can a god like Ganesha with his distorted body and a crooked face is the master of success and reflection. Sorry, master of success and perfection. So how can he be the master of perfection and master of success? Because Ganesha, when you see Ganesha, he is incomplete. Lord Ganesha is incomplete. At the same time, look at the theme called incompleteness. Why the play is incomplete? The play is incomplete because the entire play revolves around the theme of imperfection. Because even God Ganesha is an embodiment of imperfection. O elephant-headed Iramba, you see, O elephant-headed Iramba, O single-tusked destroyer, O single-tusked destroyer of incompleteness, O single-tusked destroyer of incompleteness, O elephant-headed Iramba. You can see, people are worshipping Ganesha. At the same time, in that invocation song, there is this incompleteness or imperfection of Ganesha. Is addressed by the people, by the singers. Padmini. So what do you see again? What is the problem? What is the problem with Padmini? The problem with Padmini is she craves for complete man. She craves for complete man. That's her problem. She craves. She has that internal urge or craving for complete man. That is her problem. Okay, that is her weakness. She wants a perfect man. Normally, this is very much there amongst the women, amongst the girls. They want an idealistic, perfect husbands, isn't it? Intelligent man with a good, stout physical body, well-built body, isn't it? With a good salary, intelligent man, intelligent, educated, well-built, okay, smart, handsome. So normally girls expect all such qualities in their would-be husbands. Why? The reason is they all expect their husbands to be a complete man, to be a complete man without any imperfections. So normally there in any woman, any girl, let it be, they desire for perfection in their would-be husbands, which is not wrong, which is not wrong. So what happens here, no matter how hard we try, human beings, as human beings, no matter how hard as human beings we try, human completeness is virtually impossible, is virtually impossible to attain. It is impossible for any of us, for any human being, let it be. It is impossible for any human, let it be, to achieve that completeness, to achieve that completeness. Because each individual is lacking in something, or it might be having some deficiency or the other, some deficiency, some deformity, let it be mental deformity, let it be physical deformity, or some diseases which is not known to the outer world. So no man is perfect, no man is complete. So to expect a complete man is a wrong notion, is a wrong opinion. You cannot expect a complete man, or you again, from anybody, like any human being, let it be, including girls. No girl, no, again, if you, again, in some girls we see beauty. Some girls do have beauty, at the same time they do have this intelligence, or they appear to be intelligent. But what happens when it comes to some issues, they might not be graduate, they might not be well educated or qualified, or they might be having some diseases which you are not aware of. So appearance wise, they look beautiful, they are beautiful, they appear to be smart and intelligent. But what we don't know is, we don't know what kind of problem she is having. She might be having some disease which is not known to the outer world. So what I want to convey here is, to desire or aspire for completeness in human beings, in the human world, is highly impossible. You cannot attain completeness or perfection. It is difficult to attain completeness or perfection, because all the creatures, all the human beings created by God are not made complete or perfect. They have their own lacunas, their own deformities, their own strengths and weaknesses, isn't it? So what is the second theme? Ideal. So ideal and real conflict. The play brings out the conundrum between CONU and DRUM, CONU and conundrum, DRUM. So conundrum between, the play brings out the conundrum between identity and the reality. And Padmini desires for Kapila, even though she was married to Devadatta. No, she is married to Devadatta in the play, but still she desires for Kapila's body, which is ethically wrong, but still she desires it. Even in that way, even Padmini is not complete. She is corrupt, she is mentally corrupt, because she desires for Kapila's body, though she is married to Kapila's closest friend Devadatta. So in that way, she is also imperfect. She is also not ideal, not an ideal woman. So ideally, she wanted the best of both the worlds. So you can see the conflict between nature and culture. That's another significant factor which is discussed here. At the same time, the third important theme is indecisive human nature. Indecisive human nature, mind versus body, constant dilemma between choice. So again, in making choice between the two, we normally suffer because of dilemma, uncertainty, ambiguity. To choose the right thing, we will be in confusion, right? And Padmini's inner desires depict the predicaments of modern emancipated women. So Padmini represents modern women, emancipated, economically, sociologically emancipated women. So Padmini represents the emancipated, again, Indian woman who is modern or again well advanced. So she is like that. So though she is married, she desires for Kapila's body. So she wants a perfect man. In that way, she is an embodiment of the modern woman. She represents modern woman who is emancipated, who is socially, economically, psychologically emancipated, well exposed to the modern life, well exposed to modern ideas. So she represents modern woman. Who? Padmini. She represents all the modern women. She is the modern woman who represents all the modern women. At the same time, another important factor is the play brings out. The play brings out the complex. The play brings out the complexities between human predicaments which have no easy solution. Which has no easy solutions. The play, as I told you, the play brings out the human predicaments, the complex human predicaments which have no easy solutions, which have no easy solutions. Fourth important theme is identity crisis. Identity crisis, we all suffer from identity crisis. We all aspire to establish our name. We all want to be popular. We want to fix our name in the history books. Why does this thought come into our mind? The thought comes into our mind. The reason is we all want to establish our identity in this world. So the identity crisis, people want to establish their own identity. So element of Ayavadana, you see, Ayavadana wants to establish an identity. He is having horse head and human body, and he is imperfect. He neither belongs to man world or animal world. So after visiting the Kali temple in Mount Chitrakoot, so he has been transformed into a complete horse. Now he has no problem. He has no such problem of identity crisis. Who? Ayavadana. So after transpositioning their heads with the character, their heads, both the characters fight for their identity. So what happens in the story after transpositioning their heads, both the characters fight. They fight for their identity. They don't know which body, so they are in confusion. They fight for identity. So you can see the textual lines where it is expressed. I have Devadatta's body now, so you have to be my wife. This is what Kapila says. Kapila said with Devadatta's body, demands Padmini, again sex from physical union from Padmini, and this is what Devadatta says. Again Kapila says, I have Devadatta's body now, so you have to be my wife. I have Devadatta's head, and it follows that I am Devadatta. Okay, Padmini is entangled between the two after the exchange of heads. She is in confusion. She is in confusion whether to get along or move on with Kapila or with Devadatta, because both of them, both their heads have been transposed by none other than Padmini herself. She is in confusion. So Padmini is entangled between the two, okay, after the exchange of their heads, okay, causing a split in her identity. Even Padmini suffers from identity crisis. Identity crisis. And you can see that in her character. And casteism, Devadatta to Kapila, go back to your smithy, that's where you belong. Devadatta sits on the chair, Kapila sits on the ground happily. In the play, you can see Devadatta, who belongs to the upper caste, sits on the chair, whereas the Kapila, who belongs to a blacksmith community, sits on the floor. Sits on the floor. You can see the casteism prevailing, the theme of casteism prevailing in the play. And after the transposition, Kapila is shown to stay in the forest. He was asked to stay in the forest after the transposition, while Padmini and Devadatta go back to Dharmapura. That's another important factor. Padmini is the hypocrite. So she wanted Kapila's body with Devadatta's head. She is already married to Devadatta. After transpositioning Kapila's body with Devadatta's head, she leaves Kapila's head with Devadatta's body in the forest, and they both of them live towards Dharmapura. So that shows that even Padmini is cunning. Why she is cunning? Why she is hypocrite? The reason is she knows that Kapila is from a different caste, a backward caste. That's another important factor. You can see the last theme, that is gender inequality. Gender inequality, Devadatta always refers to their baby as a son. No, Devadatta knows that Padmini is already pregnant. She is already pregnant. She is having a baby in her stomach, and he expects a baby boy. He expects a male child. Okay, Devadatta always refers to this baby as son. Once our son is born, I'll teach him to swim too. So he is expecting a child from his wife, but he is pretty sure that the child should be the male child. So it's quite clear that he is a gender biased person. So you can see that in another situation, he says you go on about it being a son. What if it's a daughter? What if it's again? This is what Padmini asks to Devadatta. So you go on about it being a son. What if it's a daughter? Magaladre ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So Padmini's decision to perform sati is another important factor for example for gender inequality. So she dies soon after her husband dies, isn't it? So she dies. She commits suicide. She performs sati. Okay, for Padmini's decision to perform sati, she realizes that people will not accept her into society because she has cheated both Kapila and Devadatta. So she has inwardly started to like Kapila's body. So she without her knowledge got attracted towards Kapila's body. In that way, she was a corrupt woman. So that's the reason why she realizes that people will not accept her in the society where she is living. After knowing the cause of her husband's death, the society will completely banish her. She is fully aware that she might be banished or banned by the society when they come to know that she is the one who can be held responsible for the death of husband Devadatta. So that's all about Ayavadana, the play Ayavadana, where Girish Karnad has dealt with so many themes in this two-act a short play, which is in two acts. Okay, very beautifully striven play. Again, see there some dialogues are so important. The play consists of high philosophy on human life. Okay, philosophy. The play is filled with so many philosophies, isn't it? The philosophy of imperfection, the philosophy of nothingness, the philosophy of what incompleteness, and it's all about this play. Um, I welcome if there are any questions or queries to make or ask. So the questions are welcome. Welcomed. I welcome the questions. Please ask if there are any doubts or questions on this text. The, the platform is open for discussion. The platform is open for discussion. If there is any doubt or query, question to ask, I leave the class for again the students for to ask questions. If there are any questions to ask, please go ahead. You can post your questions in the comment box. The class is open for discussion. Please post your questions in the comment box so that I can answer it. If there are no questions, I'll wind up the class. Thank you, one and all. That's all about the play Ayavadana of Girish Karnad. Thank you once again. All the best. Do well in the exams. Thank you.